What's up, everybody? Welcome to Final Fan TV, the Final Fantasy Entertainment and Podcast Network. It's 1990, baby. In fact, Vinny, it is July 12th, 1990. We have gone back in time to the time when Final Fantasy first arrived in North America. Vinny, July 12th, 1990 was the first time it arrived in North America. Isn't that crazy, dude? It came out in 1987 in Japan. It took it a couple years to finally reach the shores of North America. How you feeling today, Vinny? What's up, man?
I feel good. I'm sorry. I was just trying to find that ad I sent you earlier because I know it's not in the document.
Okay, I still have it, but what we're gonna do today is actually take a look at an old magazine from 1990. So this is going to be really exciting for me as a graphic designer, and I'm really big into like marketing and advertisement and stuff like that. That's what I went to college for. This is just really exciting for me. So I'm going to open this up right now. Transition over to our magazine. Watch this sweet eraser. Oh, freaking! It's so 90s today. I love it. All right, so as you can see, this is Video Games and Computer Entertainment. This is a magazine that came out in November 1990 issue. And I thought it'd be fun to just kind of take a look at it. And as you can see, this website is amazing. You can find almost all magazines from the past and flip through them and read them. It's archive.org. And as you can see here, man, look at that. Look at that cover. What I'm going to love about this episode the most is seeing the style of the 90s, that attitude. You know what I mean? And you're going to notice it in these advertisements. You're going to notice it in the writing of reviews and articles. You're going to feel that edginess, that attitude of the 90s, and it's just awesome. So if there's anything you want me to stop on, let me know. But I'm actually going to go get to the Final Fantasy 1 article. So you can see this is at the time when, where was it at? Total Recall was in the theaters. And this also kind of gives you an idea of where Final Fantasy was, like the time period. This is like a period piece, you know what I mean? Like you get to see like a time capsule of the 1990 right now. November.
Look at that console advertisement that spans 5 pages.
5-page advertisement. Amazing. This is for the Turbo Graphics, by the way.
And then it's a handheld.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and the handheld here. This is just insane. I think I'm zoomed in a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go. And then we can kind of go back to it. Midway, when Midway was making this is not Midway. TV Sports Football for the Turbo Graphics. Genesis does what Nintendo don't. There is that famous advertisement for Sega. Genesis does what Nintendo don't. That was back in the day when like console wars were like, that was a thing. There was no playing nice. There was no like, hey man, we respect them as a competitor company. No. Genesis was out, man. I love this. I love this. And we actually see another we're going to see another one when we get to the Final Fantasy 7.
That's my favorite.
Oh man,
that's
we're gonna
my favorite ad of all time.
We're gonna see that, and no spoilers here, but wait until you get to see that episode, probably at the end of the week. But if you're watching live, it'll be coming up soon. So be excited about that. So Genesis does what Nintendo don't. I love it. Genesis does it all. So we can kind of scroll through here. It's page 155 if I'm correct.
Yeah. 155
for the Final Fantasy 1 review. So let's kind of get there right now. Let's make our way there. I love this website, man, so much. I was stuck on here just reading through.
I don't know if it's happening for you, but all we see is
just a bunch of loading screens.
Yeah, they're all loading.
Yeah, they're just loading in. All right, so 155. We should be getting close, man. Uh-oh, I think we lost it, Vinny. I think we lost it. It was 155, right?
Yeah. Why is it? What page?
Okay, hold on. Just gotta scroll back a little bit. No? Not seeing it. Right now I'm at 146. So anyway, we gotta find this Final Fantasy 1 review. It was We're going to have to re-find it. It's in the reviews. Final Fantasy. There it is. Boom. All right. So now, what I thought would be kind of cool for you guys is I'm going to read this review for you. And you kind of get an idea of, you know, what this magazine ranked it, or rated it, which is really cool, and what they had to say about it. So strap in. Let's zoom in so you can kind of read along. Oops, that's not where we go. Oh God, no! What did I just do? No.
It's 124.
Huh?
124.
It was 124.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get back there.
There you go.
Here we go. Final Fantasy. There we go. I hit the wrong button to. There we go. The wrong scroll. All right. So Final Fantasy 1 released for the Nintendo Entertainment System for $42.99 back then.
Oh my God.
This magazine gave it sound and music a 7 out of 10, graphics a 7 out of 10, playability a 9 out of 10, and an overall score of 8 out of 10. So you can you also gotta look, man, like back then this is what graphics look like for like they didn't really go too hard on the battle screens. It was really just this black screen, so I can kind of understand the 7 out of 10 for the graphics. I can totally get that. I totally understand that. So let's go over here. All right, let's read this. These days, Final Fantasy role-playing games, RPGs, they had to clarify, make claim to a large chunk of the video game market. Adventures like Ultima and Dragon Warrior regularly find their place on bestseller lists, probably because they offer so much more than just long-term blastathons. These games allow the player to immerse himself. Oh, we're specifying himself in this magazine back then.
The 90s.
Back in the 90s, yeah. Immerse himself in an entire world, exploring strange territories, fighting awesome creatures, and solving tricky puzzles. In Nintendo's new RPG, Final Fantasy, you assemble a party of 4 heroes, each of which has a magical orb. 2,000 years ago, the orbs had glowed with a power from within. Now, all are dark, and your heroes must bring back the light. Along the way, your adventurers will complete many smaller quests, including rescuing Princess Sarah from the Temple of the Fiends, waking the Prince of Elfland, and finding a missing crown. If you're familiar with such games as Ultima, Dragon Warrior, or Sega's Phantasy Star series, you'll be at home with Final Fantasy. As mentioned above, you start your quest by assembling a party of 4 heroes. You may choose from 12 occupations: fighter, knight, thief, ninja, black belt, master, red mage, red wizard, and white mage, white wizard, black mage, and black wizard. Each occupation boasts different abilities. A well-rounded party will include both strong fighters and powerful magic users. Or if you're Vinny, you can just use all white mages. Your magic users start out weak with only a couple of spells. As they grow stronger, however, you will be able to choose from 64 different spells, some defensive and some offensive. Defensive spells allow your magic users to perform such magical feats as healing members of your party or increasing the strength of their armor, while offensive spells allow you to fight with powers like fireballs and lightning. Magic alone won't win the quest. Your party also needs weapons and armors. You can choose from 40 different types of each. Which you select depends on your character's occupations and levels. As the game progresses and your party becomes stronger, you can buy better, more powerful weapons and armor. In addition to your weapons and armor, a slew of other special items aid you in your quest, including potions for healing your warriors and portable housing for both healing your party and saving their status to the battery-backed up cartridge. Most items can be found in the many shops located in each town. There are magic shops, potion shops, armor shops, and weapon shops, In addition, you'll find inns in which you can completely restore your adventurer's strength and save your game, and clinics in which you can reincarnate dead heroes. Everything has its price, of course. As you fight the mini monsters, you'll gain not only experience levels, but also gold. Did somebody mention monsters? You bet! Over 130 of them. Like your heroes, each monster has its own set of abilities and attributes. Some creatures are stupid and slow, easy pickings for even the weakest adventurers. Others are quick-witted and ready for trouble. Some are poisonous. Others enjoy magical abilities. Final Fantasy's game world is a dangerous place indeed. It's also a huge place, containing over 25 important locations, towns, castles, caves, dungeons, secret tunnels, and more. You'll need to locate various vehicles and look at this, dude. This advertisement for Narc. I don't know if did you ever play Narc?
I did not.
Oh man, I love Narc, dude.
I did not play Narc.
Okay, and then we'll zoom back in. In order to explore the entire map, including a ship, a canoe, and even an air balloon. Final Fantasy comes with a wonderful, full-color, 80-page manual that not only teaches the basics of the game, but also provides maps and clues for the first half of the quest. In addition, the game is packed with 2 poster-sized sheets that provide additional maps, as well as complete monster armor and weapons charts. Good lord, Vinny! Why don't games come like that anymore?
I don't even. I think the last game that I read the pamphlet inside of it for was like Dark Souls, and all it did was give you like the character description of like the 8 starting classes, and like that was it. Final Fantasy X I think had the most in-depth one where it gave like character bios and their ages and everything.
Right, and this is we're kind of jumping in time a little bit here, but and don't worry, we're going to be doing 1000s week too. It'll be a lot of fun. Final Fantasy X, like I think you're right, man. Like this one had like a nice booklet in it with all the character bios, and yeah, man, I miss those days, man. I miss those days. We'll come back to that. Final Fantasy X will not be featured in this series as it came out in 2000. Yep. So we'll talk about booklets and stuff in that show. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna scroll down and finish this one out. Final Fantasy. Okay, go ahead.
I like how they have images from different games along with like, because like this is not from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, they're talking about Dragon's Curse here.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Never mind. I didn't know that it got
up. Yeah,
okay.
They're finishing up from page 1. There's the Final Fantasy images. And then,
okay. I was like, I do not remember that.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I looked over and I saw it, and I was like, "What is this dinosaur? I don't remember a side-scrolling dinosaur. What the heck?" So to finish out the review, Final Fantasy is role-playing adventure at its best. The many different character types yield a game that can be played again and again using different strategies, and that Vinny did play it again and again and again and again and again. And to that, the large size of the game world, and you've got a quest that'll keep you busy for hundreds of hours. In fact, you may never exhaust its possibilities, and I can tell you for sure, I would say 35 years, but that was Japan. But yeah, like on its 35th anniversary, Final Fantasy is once again being played, and I have not exhausted its possibilities because I'm playing it currently. That's a dude.
Now,
think about.
I will say, I don't think the main quest will keep you busy for hundreds of hours. That's a bit of a stretch there. I think you could beat Final Fantasy 1 in its entirety in like 8 hours if you, even a first time playthrough. But hundreds of hours.
Hundreds of hours. You also got to think,
really
man.
Trying to sell.
Back in the 90s, though, like this was a lot to take in for players, man. Like, you know, like a lot of players didn't really like. This was big stuff back then, right?
Groundbreaking,
and this is the first time it made its way to North America, and we're gonna kind of finally, we're gonna kind of get a feel of how North America received this game. So like this game obviously gets a really good review. I believe it was an 8 out of 10, which is a solid review. This is from Clayton Walnum. I feel like you got to give credit, even though this is a really really old magazine. But yeah, look, it even has a freaking address where you can like a PO box, dude. At the end of the...
you could write to the reviewer and be like, I did not agree with this.
Can you imagine?
You can do that nowadays. Like,
nobody does that. You think game publishers would be literally putting themselves on a chopping block and giving the person the axe and saying, "Here you go, please write me."
Let's someone in chat wants to see if Dragon's Curse ranked higher. Let's see what Dragon's Curse got.
Oh my god, guys, it got an 8 out of 10. It got an 8 out of 10.
Sounds like Dragon's Curse is something we should probably throw on the emulator after we own it. After we own it, of course.
Oh yes, of course. Did you see that that advertisement where it was like, it was an advertisement. It was a meme where it was the Doctor Doc Ock, and he was like, this old game, I must emulate it. And then like the thing was like speaking. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. That is that. Or no, it was the. I'm sorry, I ruined this whole meme. I ruined the whole meme.
We'll start the show over. Everybody, just
let's roll it, re-roll it. And it was Doc Ock, and the arms were talking to him. You know how he can like talk to him, and it was like you should emulate that old game. And he's like, that's a felony or that's a crime. And then he went, no, you're right. The true crime would be not to play it.
See, right
there, you go.
I'll send Nintendo a check for $48.99 plus inflation.
$48.99. No, Final Fantasy was cheaper for $42.99. You can get Final Fantasy. You're talking about the premium Dragon's Curse, bro. Like,
right. And what does that say? That underneath Dragon's Curse, it's a little blurry for me.
Oh, for the TurboGrafx 16.
No. Above that.
NEC. That's
NEC,
the company that made it. Or yeah. For the published it, I guess.
I'll just write a check to NEC or whoever owns NEC now.
Hey, at least Low G Man didn't get it. You know what I mean? Low G Man got a 7 out of 10.
What is Low G Man? Is that a crane? Are you fighting a crane?
I believe.
What is that?
It looks like a Contra ripoff.
The 90s were a wild time.
Dragon Warrior 2 got a 5 out of 10. Ooh. So it beat Dragon Warrior, you know.
And then what is this? Play it again. I remember seeing stuff like this, where like you can like
like a checklist.
It's a checklist, and you can like send your video games in, and they'll buy them for like
we sell 19 and we buy. Oh my god.
Yeah, back when it was a lot harder to get video games that you had to go to your local Funko Land or your local GameStop, and if they didn't have it, it wasn't like you could just hop on Amazon or something and just buy a game. You had to like find somebody who was actually selling it, and
that's insane. Like, check it off. Let me know what you want. Super Contra's in there. I love that game.
Ultima was in there. I saw that.
Wow, guys. Yep.
Yeah. All these games. Xenophobe.
Send it to Play It Again here, and then I guess they'll send it back to you. Like, this was before GameStop, I think. I don't know.
1990. I don't know when GameStop was established, but
when was GameStop
established? I know I got most of my games from Blockbuster, 7 days at a time.
There you go, guys. So I think we can kind of, if you guys, we can just flip through it just a little bit to get an idea of the times, right? This was when Final Fantasy came out in North America. Like, this is the kind of magazines, like the layout. You got these very muted colors. Like, just look at the advertisements are very, like, you start to see a trend. And
also, a lot of the advertisements back then used real actors or real objects instead of what you would find in the game. It was almost like a movie poster. Like, you would see, real actors posing for a video game cover.
Yep.
Not there.
Not there,
or there.
Or drawing, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes they do drawings and stuff. Like it wouldn't be from the actual game. Like this image looks absolutely nothing like what the game looks like.
I know, right? And you know what I should have brought up? I'm sure I could find a picture of it real quick. I don't know if anybody remembers the game Phalanx for Super Nintendo, but Phalanx was it was like a spaceship game, but the cover had some like hillbilly playing a banjo with some moonshine next to it. Like, hold on, I will find it.
Find that for me.
I will find it, and I will send it to you.
Do you have any memories from playing Final Fantasy like for the first time? Was it in the 90s when you played Final Fantasy, like the very first one, or?
It was. I'm sorry, I can't get Phalanx off my mind right now.
I need to. I should probably bring it up, to be honest with you.
I have it. I have it right now.
Okay.
I just need to. Hold on.
Okay, so let me read some chat stuff here. You guys have any memories from 1990 on Final Fantasy 1? And trust me, we'll get to the other Final Fantasies here in a minute. But yeah, we'll be talking about Final Fantasy 8 in a minute. I remember there was a contest for 4 people to win, and they'd be the real Warriors of Light and would get a vacation that included a scavenger hunt for treasure on an island with a ruined castle. I wonder who won and what that experience was like. Oh my god, that would be awesome.
I have it up on the Google Doc now.
Okay, it's at the bottom, I imagine. Let me.
All the way at the bottom, yeah. You see it?
Yep. Can I bring that over
now
into? Yes, I can. Yes. Okay, I can bring that in and just pop it in there. Okay.
So that's Phalanx. The hyperspeed shootout in space, but that's the cover. It's just has nothing to do with the game at all. It's like a hillbilly playing a banjo, but then the gameplay is you're in a spaceship.
Where does it scroll down?
Having like space shootouts.
Oh, there's no actual Phalanx. Oh god, it's just the guy playing a banjo, man. They're like, "Hey, we need a box art. It's a hyperspeed. It's a hyperspeed shootout game in space. Do you have any ideas? We pitch it to the ad team. You know, let's see what they come up with." Oh god, I just typed in Phalanx. Game.
Wait.
Dude, they freaking brought it to the Game Boy Advance, dude.
Yeah, it's a. I think it's a.
What the?
See, like, people. I'm glad I'm not alone in this, but like.
I can't.
It was just.
Yeah.
There's probably no gameplay. I think that's gameplay right there.
Which like this one down here?
No.
Yeah, this looks like it. This looks like it. So it was like yeah, this is it. Phalanx.
I didn't get very far in the game because I thought I was going to be playing as like a hillbilly, and then I realized it was this. I was like, this is not what I wanted.
Amazing.
I wanted some like deliverance type stuff.
All right, so I imagine because like Final Fantasy 1's an interesting one because like I don't think it was for me. I didn't play Final Fantasy 1 until Final Fantasy Origins, and I don't even believe that was 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I played Final Fantasy 1 in the 90s after playing Final Fantasy 4.
Okay.
And it's the original Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 4 are so different that I was actually turned off by Final Fantasy 1 at first.
Now let me ask you a question, Vinny. Are you talking about Final Fantasy 2?
Yes, Final Fantasy 2. I hate that so much.
Well, let's talk about Final Fantasy 2, shall we? So if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. This was our travel back in time and take a look at a Final Fantasy 1 and look at a review and look at Phalanx. And yeah, so if you enjoyed that, please tune in to the next episode where we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy 2.
Somebody get that hillbilly tattooed on their back.
Get the Phalanx guy.
Yeah, that guy needs to be immortalized on somebody's skin.
All right, we'll close this one out. There we go.